no joke. Choke no joke. Chicky choke no joke. You know what it is. Imagine going to the supermarket and everything look like this. Keep on hating. You know what it is. So, choke no joke. You already know. Still out here on vacation. Shout out to the one person hit the like button. You got super love from me. You know what I mean? So what's going on here right now, before I get into the topic, is I'm over here, I'm washing some clothes. Y'all see that video in a minute. And I'm also, you know, I gotta have the Modelo while I'm out here. So, I know y'all been talking about me doing cooking shows. Right now, I'm about to make me some shrimp quesadillas. I'm probably gonna fry me some shrimp too. You know what I'm saying? Depending on. How many I get out of peeling these shrimps. It's the one thing about making shrimp. It's having to clean them. You know what? Let me bring the camera over this way. Lighting is better, right? I see it. So, I wanted to come on and not only cook me some shrimp and holler at y'all, but these shrimp is smaller than I thought. But they're gonna have to do. In fact, I'm taking the tails off these joints. Yeah, so what I wanted to come on and talk about is if you go check my Instagram at Real Choke No Joke, I posted this lady who you could tell has lost one minimum or even more family members to the street, right? And she basically, thanking Donald Trump for making some type of effort to stop the gang violence. You know what I'm saying? So she looks very, you can see the pain in her eyes, bro. Like, you could tell she's tired, like, and she's feeling a way that people are complaining that he's making some type of effort, to try to stop this stuff that's going on in the streets, by putting the presence of the National Guard and, having people run through these streets trying to clean it up. So for me, I reposted it is because I feel her. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the Observer of Truth. Peace. What up? All right. You go and watch some truth tonight. You're going to be this afternoon, you're going to be observing some truth here, right? You got, this lady, like, really, like, some of these people out here in the streets, they still glorify gangs. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes like Whack 100. You got dudes like Jim Jones on the East Coast. They still promote the gang lifestyle, even at their age, when we know that at our age, it's nothing less than self-destruction. You know what I'm saying? But to look cool, you know what I'm saying? These dudes still represent gang culture, knowing that there's no positive end to gang banging. You know what I'm saying? When these dudes, they go to jail, they come home, they start trying to live a different lifestyle. At least the ones that has been rehabilitated and realize that the niggas in the street didn't really care for them. They just used them to put in work, which means go out there and do something that they won't do for themselves because the OGs, they done did time. They ain't got no more time to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So they'll manipulate the little nigga and tell him to do it because it's his first offense and he might get probation. Or he might not get too much time. So they'll convince the young nigga, the YNs as they call them now, which is not a positive nickname to be called. You know what I'm saying? Because none of us are really niggers. You know, we just adopted the NIWGA because we felt like that became cool because of NWA, and we adopted it into our vocabulary, and it's a part of our normal routine and name calling, and I'm guilty of it as well. I shouldn't even be using it, right? But, you know, to be honest, I'm very surprised that at our age, you know, the Wax, the Jim Joneses, and I hate to say Jim Jones' name because that's my guy, but the reality of it is, you know, Jim still promote the gang culture, you know, and when I seen this dude, Hocus 45, start this Drop Your Flag challenge, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. Like, he's not corny for saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? Uh, he dropping his flag, meaning he's no longer with gangbanging. He's no longer with riding on another set, another color, um, you know, selling drugs, you know, worrying about ops and all this other stuff. And you got some of these dudes out here that's looking at him like he's corny. Like, niggas talking about you dropping his flag. That's dropping your flag is the equivalent of dudes that used to sell drugs that decided they not gonna sell drugs no more. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing is you're not part of a cult or a gang. You know what I'm saying? You just decided, yo, I'm not selling drugs no more. I'm gonna get a job. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be around for my kids to raise them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep putting my life at risk when I know that, you know, I should be putting my family first. Some of these guys, they don't, they still with putting the streets first. You know, I seen Jim Jones, Fab, uh, Davies, they all was having a conversation, right? And I'm looking at a clip of this, and they talking about how people are saying like Jim Jones is the old young nigga, right? And and he should change how he dress. You know what I'm saying? Now that's how he dress is don't really matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he present himself with his gear don't really reflect on who he is, right? Because, you know, we've been judged on how we dress since the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Probably before that. But for me, I understood that my appearance, even the car I drive, will get me harassed by the police, right? So for me personally, I changed the way that I dress. You know what I'm saying? I'm more into suits and slacks and, not wearing pants. Definitely ain't wearing no pants sagging off my ass. That is just retarded at my age because you learn that when you sag, you know, it fucks up your lower back. You know what I'm saying? Because you walk in a certain way to make sure your pants ain't falling and stuff. And it's like doing the hula hoop. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold your waist a certain way to keep the hula hoop from falling down. Sagging kind of does that subconsciously, and these guys don't know it. And when they get my age and they see that they got this lower back pain, they gonna be wondering why their lower back is hurting, and then they'll figure out it was the sagging. You was walking around hula hooping, holding your pants up. How many times you see these guys get into fights and they get their ass kicked because their pants fall is the first thing that fall, and they getting beat up because they got their pants won't hold up and stuff. And if you know better, you do better. And a belt has been created to hold your pants. I mean, to separate your upper body from your lower body. You know what I'm saying? That's what a belt is for. Balance. Not only does it just hold your pants up, you know what I'm saying? That's the waist is split in half. It's from your upper body to your lower body. And until you realize that, and you just using the belt just for fashion, and you're not using it to hold your pants up around your waist, you know what I'm saying? When you get older, you're gonna realize your lower back, it just kills you. You aching. You know what I'm saying? But when you're young, you're not paying attention to that. You're thinking about style, you're thinking about fashion. So even with this latest video I seen of these guys sitting around talking about why people calling them the old wide young niggas because of their appearance, because of how they dress, it's more than that. I'm seeing Fab sitting there, and this nigga got the double cup. Now, it may not be lean in the cup, but the perception of the double cup is to let you know that, or to give you the impression that a person is drinking lean, right? Because the double cup is basically to make sure that, that lean don't get through the cup. So you gotta lay it up. You know what I'm saying? Cause that stuff, it's, you know how styrofoam is. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really that strong. But he's sitting there with a cup, with the double cup. And I know that's hip hop, but the significance of it is that you got lean in your cup. Now, I doubt very highly that Fab is sitting there sipping on lean, right? But he's giving the impression that he's sipping on lean, or he's trying to be old cool nigga. You know what I'm saying? By having the double cup. It's the styrofoam cups. Shit is funny to me. Because these niggas are sitting around talking about how people were calling them old young niggas. And they sitting there debating about being called the old young nigga. But you got a nigga in his 40s sitting there. I don't even know if Fab hit 50 yet. But this nigga is sitting there. Miss Spaz, what up, baby? He's sitting there with the double styrofoam cups like he's Lil Wayne 10 years ago. Probably 20 years ago. Right? And it just baffles me that they don't see what people are saying. And like I said, it ain't really about their appearance and how they dress to me. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how you dress. Everybody still, well, not everybody. A lot of dudes in their 50s, 60s still dress urban. Flavor Flav is probably pushing 70. And he still dressed urban. He's not out in a suit every day. You know what I'm saying? You'll see Jay-Z, his ass don't even be in the suit every time you see him. You'll still catch him here and there with a pair of Timbs and jeans, you know what I'm saying? Or some people use my ass sneakers on, which is Puma, right? But he's not always, in a button up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, it ain't really the urban gear, and you don't have to always wear a suit. But the point is, you still giving off this impression to look cool, right? Case in point, Fab sitting there with with the double styrofoam cups. That is a hip hop thing with significance. You sipping lean in the cup. You know what I'm saying? That's a South thing. That ain't no New York thing, right? But like I said, to each his own. And then you got, these dudes always talking about who's snitching, right? Oh, nigga, use a snitch. Use a snitch, right? And snitching is taken out of context right now. People think that people that ain't even in the streets is a snitch. Snitching is telling on someone to free yourself that you were down with. You agreed to go do this crime with this person, right? And then y'all get caught, and then you tell on the people that you agreed to go do this crime with to free yourself. That's snitching. A person that ain't got nothing to do with the crime telling on because they witnessed the crime, or they got pulled into something that they ain't have nothing to do with. They ain't play no part in it. And you got and they facing time for something they ain't had nothing to do with. They didn't agree to be a part of where somebody made a crime a person may have done. You know what I'm saying? So when these dudes be out here calling everybody a snitch, everybody ain't snitching. You know what I'm saying? But they will use that to protect the guilty, which is crazy. Like, people want the guilty people to go free, and they'll let one of their little homies go to jail for them and call them a snitch, and make them feel guilty about freeing themselves when they ain't had nothing to do with it. So when you got these dudes out here that keep pushing this gang culture on these little niggas, like fucking whacking and dudes on Clubhouse. He got a bunch of young niggas. It ain't no mature niggas up on there, unless some niggas is fucking stupid, right? There's no mature niggas up on this joint with him, calling niggas snitches and saying, yo, on the dead homies and this, that, and the other, right? Niggas that talk about on the dead homies, and they ain't never put a flower on a nigga grave. Ever. But niggas sit there and talk about on the dead homies, and they ain't never bought a nigga a tombstone. So when nigga be talking about, yo, on the dead homies, nigga, how many tombstones have you brought for the dead homies? How many times do you visit the dead homies' grave sites in a year? How many times do you go by the nigga, the dead homies' mother's house and just see how she doing, yet alone give her money? These niggas don't do that. That shit is a slang. You know what I'm saying? That's their way of saying I swear to God, on the dead homies, on the dead homies. Ask when a nigga tell you on the dead homies, right? Or you hear a nigga say that on social media and you could comment on it. Ask them, who killed the dead homie? I guarantee it wasn't a white man. Unless they got killed by the police in the line of gangbanging or something, more than likely, most of the dead homies was killed by a homie. If you want to say on the dead homie Nip, right? Who was Nipsey Hussle killed by? A nigga from his own neighborhood, right? Not only a nigga from his own neighborhood, a nigga that he grew up around, and a nigga that was from his own set, his own gang, right? How do you respect that? Now, if you ask a dude, and like I hate to use Jim as an example, but I can only talk about people that I know or see publicly, right? You think Jim or Wack blooded their kids in? Now they done blooded somebody else's kids in, or made somebody else kid a gang member, right? But do you think that they recruited their own kid into a gang? And if they didn't, why not? Ask a person like Jim or Wack, are they kids Pyrus or non-trade gangsters? Right? Ask them that. When you go in their comments and ask them, yo, is your son a non-trade blood? And then the nigga say no, ask him why not? Why not? Why wouldn't you allow your kid to be a gangster or a gangbanger? Right? Even all the way down to Big U. That nigga's son was playing football. That nigga was not banging in the streets. Right? Why do you think that? Why do you think a person like Big U got his son in the NFL instead of him being on the block? How many of Snoop kids gangbang? I'm just being real. Like, this ain't no shot at niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to show you something, right? Do you see Snoop's son standing on the corner, gang banging? And most of y'all gonna be like, why would he have to do that? His father's rich. So what? So what, his father's rich? That don't mean nothing. I guarantee you that ain't the reason why he ain't gangbanging. Ask most dudes that gangbang, right? Ask most dudes that gangbang, are they kids or part of their set? And if not, why? It should be easy for you to make your kid, put your kid in the same gang. You know, you should be able to blood your kid in easy, right? If you down with the set and you a big homie or whatever, right? Shouldn't you be able to get your kid down real easy? Why let them niggas go to school? For what? Them niggas could be out here riding, right? Nigga could show his kid how to rob and steal and shoot niggas early. They've been doing this so long. Why you don't think that they doing that? You think Jeezy out here showing his kid how to sell snow? Huh? But a nigga put another nigga son a pack in another nigga hands, right? Think about it. That nigga Jeezy so smart when it comes to selling drugs. Why didn't he teach his son to be a better drug dealer than him. Right? He could have been a little snowman. He could have been Frosty the Snowman. Right? Jeezy could have made his son Frosty. And had that nigga out here moving bricks. He got the money to go buy some bricks for him. He could have fronted that nigga 10 bricks. Fuck he sending him to college for? What sense do that make? Nigga, you the snowman. Teach that boy how to snow, bro. Right? You think Pusha T teaching his kids how to sell drugs? Them niggas know everything about coke. That nigga still rapping about coke. Ask Pusha T when he gonna teach his kids how to sell crack or coke. It got to be a reason to why they not doing that, right? Why do you think that is? What's the end game? The end game is to legitimize your hustle. That's what the end game is. The end game is to teach not only your kid, don't sit out here and teach your kid a better way and send your kid to college and send your kid to boarding school, but I'd be out here telling everybody else to gangbang. And gangbanging is cool. And how is it cool when you don't teach your own kid that shit? How cool is it if your own kid ain't a gangbanger? So when I see people talking about the dude Hocus 45 dropping his flag and they got a problem with it and they gangbangers, why don't you recruit your kid to take his place? And if not, why not? Like, if you so cool with gang culture, right? Why isn't you teaching your kid how to be a gangbanger? But you'll have one of these other, somebody else, son, somebody else, daughter, stand in front line, ready to pop off and do something when you got a kid yourself. Your kid should be standing there with the gun. Your kid should be the one ready to pop the gun for you and go do the bid. Your kid should be moving the drugs. Why use somebody else's if ain't nothing wrong with it? The one thing I get a nigga 6ix9ine is He owned it. He owned his shit. You can say what you want about that nigga, but he accept everything with what he did. It's crazy to me that after being out here for all these years, that dudes, it's like the crack era to me. Like, there's not too many crackheads out here anymore, right? We kind of convinced the culture that crack is whack. You know what I'm saying? It's probably very, very few people still on crack opposed to how it was in the 80s and 90s. Right? That's how I feel about like gang culture. Like, you know what it leads to, right? There's really no unity in it because a blood could kill a blood. And I don't give a fuck what part of what set you from. I don't care what state you from. I don't care what country you from. If it's a brotherhood, nobody should be able to do anything to a person that's under that color, right? That's how it should be. It's like a AKA, if you go to a job interview, a AKA or a Delta, if they sit on the other side of the desk and they find out you a Delta or AKA or a Kappa or you in the same sorority or fraternity, it's more than likely they're going to try to help you out to get that position. And that might not be, I might be guessing that because I'm not in no fraternity. But to me, it looks as if these sororities and fraternities, these people stick together for the most part. Maybe they probably don't. They probably hate on each other too. I don't know. You said you heard that before? I believe it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and if it ain't like that, then what's the purpose of joining it? For a jacket? To say that you down with it? But I believe that once you join these fraternities and sororities, in life, you get a up. If you run into one of your sorors or your frat brothers. And that may not be in all cases, in all places. But I would think that that would be some benefit to you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you go to jail, you know, you might get, if you're blood, you might get, and if the jail is run by bloods, you might be a little bit safer than a Crip going into a jail that's full of bloods. Dudes might just look out for you because you know, you're a part of that set. I don't know, I'm just assuming. But my overall point is this. After watching Colors, after watching Boys in the Hood, after watching Menace to Society, the outcome is all the same. You still wind up killing somebody that is your color. So if you're in a Latino and you're in a Latino gang and you know, and the Latino gangs is beefing with a different Latino gang, y'all killing each other. If it's a black gang beefing with a black gang, at the end of the day, y'all all black. You still killing your own people. Then you got the old niggas that recruit the young niggas. And they manipulate them, especially the ones that ain't got no guidance. Either they ran away from home, they ain't got no parents, they from foster homes, and the nigga will get there, and just because they give a nigga food and shelter, the things that they got to do for that food and shelter will land them in jail. Even if I had it to do over again, nigga, I would have fucking stayed in school. I would have stayed in school, stayed in class, instead of going back to the block thinking, oh, I need to go to the block and get this money. Hell, I'm sitting in this class for I could be making money. That was dumb. Because I missed out on a lot of education. I missed out on a lot of degrees that could have put me in better places. Why? Because I listened to the dumb niggas in the street. And when the old niggas was telling me, yo, nigga, go to school, you know, I thought them niggas was corny. And you know what they was telling me? The goddamn truth. The right thing to do. And my dumb ass sitting there, like today, I'm sitting there kicking it to y'all like this. There's some nigga right now talking about, yo, this nigga Choke is corny. Or the nigga, I'm preaching and the nigga done clicked off. Why? Because he feel the guilt. Because he's that nigga that's using somebody right now, got somebody's son, somebody's daughter out there doing something illegal, and they probably was sitting there watching, and I started, the nigga Choke is on. And I started talking like this. Yo, man, don't listen to that nigga. That nigga washed up, man. That nigga kicking that positive shit. See, that nigga washed up, man. Don't listen to that nigga. Fuck out of here. You want to get this money, right? Don't listen to that nigga Choke. Ain't no money in school, nigga. That nigga stupid. You see that nigga a cameraman. Nigga, you get out here and get this money, nigga. Bag that up. Yeah, that's what they telling these little niggas right now. Bag that up. Nigga, go on the block, you know what I'm saying? Go bag that up. Go sell this weed. Yo, go run this, right? And then when your dumb ass go to jail, nigga ain't gonna do nothing for you. And then when you come home, they gonna act like you just came home from college or you just graduated out the military. Yo, you a solid nigga. You didn't tell, nigga. You didn't tell. It wasn't even yours, your fucking crime. It was their crime. Nigga put the package, put the bag, put the crime on you. You might not even been there. And the fact that you didn't tell the truth to save your own ass, you a real nigga now. No, you was real stupid. Nigga ain't care about you. You was real stupid. And you'll have a nigga mad at me for educating you. One of my homies, right? This is a true story, I swear to God, right? One of my mans, he did a bid. Well, he did several bids, right? So I really don't remember which bid this was because he did a few, right? The nigga came home from jail. I can't remember what year it was. But Nas had this song, right? Nas had this song called, I want to say it's called Second Childhood, right? But I know that's part of the hook. A nigga in his second childhood, right? And in this song, he talks about how a nigga is in his 30s, come home from jail, living in his mother's house, sleeping on his mother's couch. Damn, what else he say in that song? I might have to look up the lyrics. But he talks about a dude that came home from jail and he living in his mother's house, sleeping on his mother's house, got a bunch of young niggas under him. You know what I'm saying? And he in his second childhood, right? We sitting there listening to the song, and the nigga is like, this nigga, Nas don't even know this nigga, right? Nas never met this nigga. He never met Nas, right? I think, yeah, it's called Second Childhood, right? But Nas is calling it like it is, bro. Because he's not the only nigga like this. It's a bunch of niggas like this. Grown ass men who manipulating young niggas, right? Out there in the street to sell drugs and do shit for them, right? So we listening to this song. Wait, is it on? It's either on I Am or It Was Written, right? Somebody look it up. It's called Second Childhood, right? I think it's the second verse. I'll never forget it. Anyway, we sitting there, we listening to the song, right? When the album first came out. It's Stillmatic, is on Stillmatic, somebody said, right? And you get a chance, go listen to it, right? We listening to the song, and everything that he's saying fits my man's character. He's talking to him, but he never met him, but he's talking to him. I swear to God, right? My man is listening to this shit. That nigga goes, yo, I'm gonna fuck Nas up when I see that nigga. I swear to God. And this nigga, he gangsters a motherfucker. If he would have seen Nas, if we would have walked out the building and he would have seen Nas that day, he might have clapped Nas, right? Not because he know Nas, or not because Nas was talking to him directly, right? It because that shit hit home, bro. He was that guy. He was the guy. You know what I'm saying? Spent all his time in the streets, doing bid after bid, and now he come home, sleeping on his mom's couch, and got a bunch of little young niggas under him and manipulating them to do all kind of crazy stuff. And he was in his second childhood. And my man was like, yo, when I see Nas, I'm effing him up, bro. Because he felt like he was talking to him. But he never met Nas. They didn't know each other. But the moral of the story is, it was a nigga like that in every project, in every hood. That's the whack nigga, whack 100 nigga right now. All he do is manipulate young niggas. He got all these little young niggas on Clubhouse talking all this gang shit. And they don't even know this is a big dumb nigga. Just manipulating niggas and getting niggas to go to jail. This nigga Wack be sitting here telling y'all all this shit, and this nigga went to jail for shooting a nigga with a fucking BB gun. This nigga ain't even shoot a nigga with a real gun. He went to jail for a goddamn BB gun, bro. A BB gun. And be out here telling niggas all this crazy shit. And will be mad at you in a minute when you tell the truth about them. But all they do is go right on that white man's platform, get all these young gangbangers in the beef with each other over podcasting, not even over no real street shit. And these niggas risking their lives over because they on a podcast talking about niggas. It's crazy. Crazy. But if you go and look at their kids, they kids are not gangbangers. And if they are, they failed them. This thing keep telling you, I was up north. I did a bit. Yeah, for shooting a nigga with a BB gun. Not a real gun, a BB gun. Tell these niggas the truth. Nigga be up there to my own Pyru, my nigga, on Pyru. And this nigga went to jail for shooting a nigga with a BB gun. But I'm gonna tell you, they gonna keep manipulating y'all kids. So the next time y'all see them on social media, ask them why they kids ain't blood. Why they kids ain't on the street selling drugs. Why they kids ain't banging. And see what they tell you. Nigga, I ain't letting my kid out here banging. What you think I got rich for? I want to give him a better life. But you gonna let somebody else's kid get out there and blood their kid in. Shit is crazy, bro. And to each his own. To each his own. But I would never encourage nobody kid to be a part of a gang. And most of these niggas that join the gangs is because they couldn't be out here on their own, stand on their own. They needed protection. As y'all can see, I'm done cleaning this shrimp. I ain't got my normal seasonings. But I need to run down to this laundromat and throw my stuff in the dryer to make sure nobody steal my damn clothes. At this stage, dudes like Jim and Waggle Honey, they supposed to be in jails. Encouraging niggas to come home and do better. Showing them how to get into the entertainment business and change their lives instead of still promoting that lifestyle. But, like, I love Jim Jones, man. That's my nigga. I seen that nigga come all the way up. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that he done carried that gang shit so deep that he can't get out of it right now. Even if he wanted to. If that nigga talked about dropping his flag and teaching dudes something better, they'll turn on him. That nigga supposed to be doing Rikers Island tours. Talking to young niggas. Telling about and giving them the real deal. That's just my opinion. But one day, he'll mature and he'll get on that route and he'll run around and tell these young niggas what's really good. Throw this out, because I ain't keeping the shelves in my room. See?
¿Click? Hola.
No. But can you take the garbage?
Okay.
Gracias, honey. Yeah, so, joke no joke, I got to run down to the laundromat. I'll be back on in a few, all right? Peace.